because they're not using enough. There's so much rosemary, it would feed the birds forever. So I need to trim that. Oh, the alpine strawberries, the kids absolutely adore them. Yeah. You get kids from all over town coming down here just want the alpine strawberry. Brilliant. And they are delicious. Yeah. Everybody's got a fruit tree.
So then do you give that to the owners when you
They just go and help themselves when they want it, right. But if it gets too overgrown, I trim it back.
And then what do you do with the...
a neighbour of mine likes to burn the rosemary and the lavender in this little outdoor thing. But all this, there's lots of, there was, when we first moved here, the youngsters that have just recently started school, or sort of preschool and toddlers, and I mean it's safe, because they were told they couldn't go past number 31's end shed, and so they tearing around here on their trikes and their tractors and having picnics, and you know, so mum or dad, whoever's home looking after them, can keep a weather eye on them and be out here as well. And all the front gardens are unfenced to give a better feeling of space and community. But the terrible thing about that is I have to cut all the grass.
So they won't cut that people would prefer you to. I guess they probably would prefer you to do it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it is easy because I just start one end and carry around, and I can do all the lawns in 5 hours. Oh, right. So that's just a day's work. Yeah. Right. Their water tank's under their car park.
Okay.
The car park's next to the road as of necessity.
Yeah, they're hard. Yeah,
the
hard
brick
standing.
ones.
Yeah. Still, they've got not all.
Yes, and the drainage grid along there, which I can actually remove and clean out.
Good, makes sense.
And there are quinces on site as well.
Yeah.
Crab apples. Our post lady saw the crab apples. She said, I want to make some crab apple jelly.
Yeah.
Please have some. I said, well, nobody else has ever used it. Wendy, you know, you're more than welcome. So she gave me 2 tries of it.
I think traditionally a lot of people used to do that stuff.
I don't like the quince jelly then.
No, it's not quite as tasty, is it?
It's subtle.
These, you'll notice have covered parking.
Yeah.
That's because downstairs there are 2 2-bedroom disabled units for wheelchair users, so that you know you don't breathe, get soaking wet as you're going in. Yeah. And upstairs are 4 1-bed flats, all of them live by men, single men.
So how much choice do you have if people have family?
Initially, all people that moved here came from South Molton itself or the surrounding villages. The furthest away anyone was Swimbridge, which is 6 miles away. However, when people leave, we have to go back then to using the district council's big housing list. Whoever's at the top gets the first choice. Yeah, gets lucky. Well, not necessarily. There are some people who have already got their houses on the Home Swapper internet site because they want their carpets. We're not allowed carpets. Right. You're not allowed to put wallpaper on the wall because it's organic paint, it's breathable. Yeah. The architect didn't want dust mites in the house.
So the walls need to be able to continue to
That's right, so you can't put anything on the walls, not to paper them or put little borders up or anything like that.
So is carpets a big issue?
For the people that want to move, yes. And it is a fairly big issue if you've got toddlers and tackers learning to walk. We've had lots of kiddies end up in casualty, especially from falling down the stairs. But we are allowed stair carpet as long as it doesn't go right to the edges, you know, the old-fashioned runner that goes up the middle. And this is our road. Solar panels!
So I looked into installing solar on like a south-facing roof. It looked good in terms of using a second water cylinder so the water is preheated prior to any heat. So as you said earlier on, in the summer you're not heating any water, in the winter you're heating water that's already been warmed.
That's right. Yeah, and I'll show you the tank in a minute. We're running here. Stuart's park, that's Stuart's parking. Oh. Sorry, Stuart! We were all
I thought he was
given...
going to run us over then, that was my
Well, this is our veggie plot, which looks dreadful.
chart still going there.
Well, last summer we grew 22 different veg, fruit and herbs.
Where?
With the house
Okay, cool.
so we have very little landfill waste at all.
Have you had any grapes off the vine yet?
Oh, they were...
They're good.
Yes.
Good. Superb.
Yes, Chateau Meadow here whatsoever. No, honest, because that porch is, the architect calls it a solar gain porch, so it actually absorbs heat. It's flash Pilkington glass, triple glazed, and if you leave it just open a crack, the warmth comes in. You stop green as well. And also we've got these automatic vents which circulate the air, and so it actually pre-warms the house, so when it cools down at night, if you crack that one open while that's still warm in there, you get your house pre-warmed, then shut it. That gets very cold out there. It doesn't freeze, but it gets cold, but then the heat doesn't go back out again, so it stays nice and warm. And quarry tiles on the floor. Who needs carpet?
Beneath these,
Pregnant pause.
beneath these is there 50mm of some sort of insulation.
Yes.
Because that's normally laid nowadays.
Actually, it's
beneath these
250, I think it says on the specs.
Right.
I think it's 300 or 250 in the walls. Anyway, it's in.
Yeah.
Stuart's got those details somewhere.
Because there's
on
a lot of loss through
yeah,
normal quarry tile floors.
that's right, but because of its thermal mass,
Yeah.
it then
Yeah.
the floor. It is a bit cold to the feet first thing in the morning, I must admit.
Mm.
But you know, if the floor warms up during the day with the sun shining on it, and then it holds it, and then it will release it in the evening as the temperature drops.
Great.
Also, the paint's organic, which means 30% more expensive than ordinary
Sure.
paint, and it doesn't last very long. The guy over there cutting the hedge down for me, he's going to take away the organic paint that was used here because it's all gone off.
Right.
I opened a pot of it and was nearly mortally ill.
But there's a lot of nasty things in normal paint, isn't there?
Yeah, but talking to my brother who's a master carpenter, actually does paint a lot of wood, he says that there are so many water-based paints these days that allow surfaces to breathe, and they don't have the huge quantity of volatile organics that they used to have.
Yeah.
So they're getting much, much better.
Great.
I mean, these paints are linseed oil based,
Yeah.
and oh gosh, chalky stuff. God knows
It's
what.
a good finish though. I mean, the guy who's painting and decorating parts of my house at the moment refuses to use water-based paints because he said they're not as good a finish. Yeah. And so I've had to persuade him that I don't care so much about the finish, and just have to get him to use water-based paint.
No, it is patchy in places when you see the light shine on it, where you try and
I think he's
wipe
more
it
talking
off.
about glosses, you know, wood paint.
Well, there's eggshell in here, or satin wood, and that's perfectly okay as well. Social housing. None of these are bought; they're all for rent. Usually they put in flat pack, scabby old chipboard or MDF, and then your laminate worktops. These are good quality, sturdy cupboards that are made from what the architect calls sustainable ply, because the glue used to stick the ply together is, again, it doesn't have volatile organic chemicals, and the veneer is stuck on with, I haven't a clue what wood that is. And the housing were very twitchy about putting beach block worktops in for social housing, thinking they'll break it. But when you think about it, if you do scratch it, or you do mark it, when you leave the property, at least someone like me who does the voids and does the redecorate afterwards, I can belt sand it all